start to show. When the camera's gone, you're not the same anymore. Let everybody know who run a town. And I know you will show up, so Lord, I'm riding for ya. Cause you know I'm down, 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 I'm down. Lord, you know I'm down for whatever.
4, 3, 2, action.
How's everybody doing out there? This is Teens LOL. I'm one of your hosts, Christian Sims.
Hi, I'm Jocelyn Chapman.
Hey, I'm Ito.
And we'll be talking about stereotypes and images today for one of our topics. To get started with stereotypes, we're just going to talk about how it affects people and what are the negative and positive effects. So on my personal views and my opinion of stereotypes, really it's making a judgment and you don't really know a lot of info about that person that you're judging. You're making an assumption or some type of judgment and you really don't have a lot of information about the person or what he does. You have anything to say about that?
I agree. Like, sometimes stereotypes can tear a person down and make them feel bad about themselves. Some people have suicidal thoughts, and some people actually do end up committing suicide. And stereotypes just put a bad label on people.
Right.
Yeah, but you could also look at it also in a good way. You could be stereotyped just in a good way. So there's bad things about it, and there's also good things about it. So
yeah,
I think that people should, when they're being stereotyped, they should think about what they're saying. So
yeah, I think so too. Stereotypes really, I mean, if you don't have anything good to say, really don't say it.
Yep.
I mean, you shouldn't make judgments on people because you don't know how that person feels on the inside. You don't know their personality, what they deal with at home. I mean, you really have to know a person before you can make a stereotype or a judgment.
Right. Like, we do it every day not knowing, but in the high school, it's more common than anything. We don't really understand or know that we're just saying, oh, she looks like this, she looks like that, and we really don't understand like the true meaning of that person.
Right. And I feel like, stereotypes, people, I mean, there could be a guy who makes all the jokes in the classroom, but he could be dealing with something at home, like I said before. I mean, people make stereotypes that he's stupid or, just because he's a jock, he's athletic, but he has no smarts. That's just a judgment. It's a stereotype.
yeah, and it's gotten really worse now just because of like the internet. You could just put things on there and make people believe that it's them saying, or just a lot more. Yeah.
Okay, and now we're going to turn your attention to our short video, 31 to be exact.
31 to be exact, y'all.
My name is Lizzie and I'm the founder of 31 Status. The mission of 31 Status is to show girls around the world what the Proverbs 31 woman looks like today. We want to set a new standard of beauty in a world that tells us that sex and seduction are the only ways to find love. We believe that true love comes from God, and we want to help you get to know Him and to know yourselves in a greater way. I hope you join me in this movement. Check out this amazing spoken word piece from my sister Jeanette.
And God said, it was not good for man to be alone, so He created you. But somewhere along the line, someone changed your perspective, shifted your view. Like Eve, you listened to the wrong voice and took a huge, tasty bite of deception. Now your stomach's upset because your spirit won't digest it. No longer the woman that walks in the confidence of ultimate artistic design. Submit your name change. We'll call you Compromise. This is what happens when your gospel is according to whoever's at the top of your playlist and the media has become your Bible, searching scriptures of magazines to be told who you are, dancing lead in Satan's recital. But you are not her, and she is not you. Because we are called to so much more than makeup, hair, clothes, and shoes, and dropping it like it's hot, even if we're able to. We are women of a different status, 31 to be exact. We are content with not looking like anyone else because we know our differences are not a reason to be jealous, but God's fingerprint. We don't run around talking about how there are no good men. We know if we apply half as much effort on the inside as we do on the out, we'll stop drawing the wrong attention. Slow to speak, quick to listen. Receiving intervention from a higher dimension, seeking purpose, watching our God-given visions come to fruition, never forgetting that we have been forgiven much. So we eat, we live, we breathe, we give, we even sweat love. Always ready to hear from the women with silver hair. Seeds have been sown, and their wisdom saturates our soil, clipping our dead ends for growth. You'll find us always promoting unity, serving in our communities, using our gifts and talents as an all glory to God opportunity. Wake up in the morning with the grind for the Most High on our mind, constantly being refined to be the exact of our architect's design. We have no hearts. So here's the answer before the question. Any man who wants a heart will go to Christ knowing it's in his possession. Yes, we are beautiful and barefoot in the kitchen of grace, pregnant with purpose, baking up praise. Jesus is who we crave, awaiting to come to full term so we can deliver back what has been deposited, knowing good and well one day we all will be audited. Mercy gives us second chances so we ain't received what we ought to get. We needed an intervention. Christ came to do loss prevention. On a cross, he was stretched and fully extended. And we were given an extension. Hear me. An extension. Hear me. Because this price was worth far more than your finest Indian Remy. I know we can change the things we don't like all for a simple cost. But Botox, lipo, and implants ain't got nothing on what was accomplished on that cross. Because you can't implant in yourself a new spirit, or lipo suck away your sin. You can't lap band your addictions, and you can't Botox away your depression. We all need him. It's time to change your status. 31 to be exact. Don't be afraid of what's abstract. Let the Spirit of God be what attracts. We are women of a different status. This world we will impact. We are women of a different status. 31 to be exact.
You guys,
My name is Lizzie, and I'm the founder of 31 Status.
that video was a very powerful video called 31 to be exact. It was more towards women and how women should be viewed, but really what I got from that was if you're one of God's child, you shouldn't worry about any type of judgments or any type of stereotypes because you're a child of God. I mean, if you serve him, you know, you'll shine through.
As a female watching this, it hit me more because us women are stereotyped a lot more because of what we wear or how we act or how we talk. And sometimes it's really hard to be a Christian woman and still live in the world because you're looked at so much differently on how you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that when you're just trying to get by.
From my point of view, for being a guy, is that basically it's like what he said is you shouldn't really worry about, you know, being like criticized or judged, like being judged for the way you look when you go to church and stuff like that. Yeah. Or just really anywhere. Yeah.
And really, I mean, if you want somebody to respect you, why would you stereotype? Yep. If you don't want to be stereotyped, don't stereotype other people. Don't judge other people. Right. Don't say things that you don't know about. Always go to that person and ask them. I want to get into a personal testimony. Okay, might be a little funny, but I was stereotyped some time ago. It wasn't too recent, but when I was younger, I had a abnormally large head, and people would make fun of it. You know, people in this church, they were stereotyping. You know, if you looked at it from the side, it looked like it was almost, you know, animation or something. You know, but I've grown into it. It was a stereotype, affected me. You know, it was funny, but it wasn't really as funny to me as it was to those other people, and I was made fun of. But you know, that's just a stereotype. Little did they know that I was going to be Christian Sims, somebody great. So.
As a personal testimony for myself, well, I've been called a jersey chaser a lot because I seem to only date athletes, but I wouldn't say I'm a jersey chaser. I'm an athlete myself, so I want an athlete, and I feel people shouldn't judge me off of what I like. If that's my type, that should be my type. If it's not yours, then so be it. But don't label someone off of what they like.
Right.
True.
Yeah. Well, oh, did you have one? No.
Yeah, I have one. All right. Sorry.
Take as long as you want.
My personal testimony about being stereotyped is that when, I'm not going to say any names, but I'm pretty sure. Whoop.
Just a minor here.
That's fine. I'm going to edit that out. All right. Sorry. Not going to name any names. She's probably going to be watching this though, so she knows who she is. But when I was actually dating her, she ended up, not going to say, but she had a fake conversation and she posted it online. So basically she was just saying, like, telling people that I was just gay and stuff like that. And people just started stereotyping so much, even more, just because I want to get into the modeling, more into that type of industry and acting. So it was just really hard because everyone was just inboxing me and stuff like that, and people were just telling me not to go back to that place where I used to live, just because they said that I didn't deserve to be there. So it was just really hard, and it hurt me a lot. So
You shouldn't judge people on who they are, and you shouldn't stereotype.
yeah.
Right now we have a guest who is our guest for today, and she's going to be talking to us about stereotypes and her things that she struggled with. So can we bring Kayla Wadley out? How you doing, Kayla?
I'm good.
Hi, Kayla.
Good.
You can grab the mic.
Grab that.
Yes.
Okay, I'm good. Go. Oh, it's okay. There. Okay.
How you doing today?
I'm good.
Glad you're here.
Yep.
I just want to ask you, Dylan, on this topic. Oh, by the way, I'm Christian Sims.
I'm Christian.
I just want to ask you. What did you deal with in stereotypes?
I deal with a lot of things actually, like my weight, for example, and things. And it's just like the stereotyping caused me to like be so insecure about myself, and you know, there was plenty of times I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror because I believe all the stereotypes and everything. It was pretty hard. I used to like cry at night because I felt like I wasn't pretty enough, or they'd be like, "Oh, why is she dressed like that?" and why is she so round and everything. I used to be called names, and it was so hard. So.
Sorry about that. How did you deal with that?
Like, I don't know, like.
It's hard to deal with, isn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty hard to deal with because I'm just thinking like, how would you deal with it? How would you be in that situation and everything? Like, the stereotyping caused me to be angry a lot.
Yeah.
And I used to like go off on people a lot.
True.
True.
Did you want to ask me a question?
Looking at yourself now, are you a much stronger person because of what you've been through to get to where you are?
Yeah, I am. It's just like I realize people is going to talk, and people is going to stereotype no matter where you at or where you came from. But the thing about it is they don't know your story. And I always think about, like, don't judge a book by its cover because you don't know the full story of their life.
Right.
So I grew from it, and I'm much independent and stuff like that. So.
Do you have any advice to give teenagers or anybody out there to overcome their just like stereotype? Or
I would say be you. Be who you want to be, because in life you're gonna make it on your own, and just let people talk, because people gonna talk. People's hating on how you are, how you be around people. So I just say, just be who you are. No matter what happens, you're gonna be strong. So.
Have you overcome your stereotype?
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah. Yeah, now I can look in the mirror myself, do my little makeup, do my little hair thing, everything, so.
That's good.
Do you think that going through the stereotypes have made you a better person?
I taught myself not to be angry, because that's how you drive people away.
Yeah.
If you have anger and if you have issues. And
Yeah.
I mean, everybody has some issues on their own, and they have to figure out what they're going to do.
Well, has stereotypes, are there good stereotypes or negative? In your case, you think?
I mean, people used to say I got curves, and I know that for a fact, so I was just like, thank you.
Right, you gotta be confident.
Yeah.
Right.
Have you ever stereotyped someone?
Yeah, I did. Like, it was back in middle school though, and I was just like, there was this female who used to come wearing like clothes, like she was homeless or something, and I was just like, why is she looking like that, And then I just asked her, and she just told me her story, and I was just like, I just broke down in tears because I felt so bad and everything. So I eventually became friends with her, and we've been friends ever since. So.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
That's good.
Anything else to ask?
Actually, no.
Well, Kayla, thank you for answering our questions. We're gonna bring out our next guest.
Oh.
Jennifer Slaughter. Good, how are you?
All right.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing phenomenal. How are you?
Great.
Good, that's good.
Good.
All right. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, I am Jennifer Slaughter. I am the marketing executive at Case Credit Union. I'm also the second lady at a church here in Lansing called Christ Temple. My husband is the assistant pastor. I'm also a wife, a friend, a sister, a boss, and a child of God. Thank you.
We want to ask you, how were you stereotyped in your life? What did you go through in stereotypes and judgments?
That's a very good question. I have always been stereotyped, and I'm even being stereotyped now. I think the biggest stereotype that I faced, I could say actually it really started a few years ago, maybe about 6 or 7 years ago, where I had gone to Michigan State for my undergrad and grad school degree. Mm-hmm. And when you're in school, like I was in school, you do things, sometimes you have a relationship with Christ, but sometimes there's a lot of things that can tempt you away from it. Mm-hmm. Drinking, smoking, having sex, there's a lot of different things that you can get yourself caught up in. Yeah. And I wasn't one of the lucky ones that just kind of skated through school without trying some of these things. Yeah. So when I came back and started going back to church and rededicated myself to Christ, yeah. I still had some of this baggage and some of these things these worldly things as we call it, yeah. that still kind of weighed me down. And so when I went to the church, I was stereotyped because my pants are a little bit too tight, or my skirt was too tight. People didn't know where I came from. You know, I just kind of came out of nowhere, came from Michigan State, and now I'm coming to this church. You know, are they going to try to steal my man? You know, I'm blessed to be attractive, but, you know, they thought, oh my gosh, this girl, her skirts are too short, a little bit too tight. She wears heels. I'm still wearing the tall heels. And she's attractive. She's going to try to probably steal our man from the church. You know, she might try to do anything. She might try to cause confusion. So I was heavily stereotyped. And little did they know, my heart and my desire was really to serve God, but I had just been, you know, I had been in school and I had been away, so I was just trying to get back to that. So that was the biggest stereotype I had faced over the last couple of years.
All right. How was it going through, like, the times you were being stereotyped?
It was awful. Just being honest, it was awful. I would go home, and this is sometimes even in church, sometimes I would go home and I would cry every night saying, God, help me. I mean, I would cry myself to sleep. And I went to prayer. I love prayer. I would go to the noonday prayer with the mothers, praying all the time, asking God, why? And it just so happened one night, this is the first experience, I've had many since, but this is the first experience I really could tangibly feel God. He came and he comforted me while I was crying like nobody else could, because I was devastated. I didn't know why all of these things were happening to me. I didn't know why people didn't like me. You know, I tried my best, but they just didn't like me. They had this stereotype about who I was. And so it was really devastating until I really prayed and asked God to help me. And every day he had to help me.
Now that you've came out of these stereotypes, would you say that you're a stronger and better person?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm grateful to have that. Now I've kind of swung to the other side of the stereotypes. Mm-hmm. So I've gotten over the first stereotype where everyone thought I was a certain way and did a certain thing. Now I'm married to an assistant pastor. So now I have this stereotype of being a first lady or second lady, and I'm supposed to do this and I'm supposed to do that, and I can't ever get upset, and I have to be prissy and wear lace and all these stereotypes. So I've swung to the opposite spectrum. And so, what I'm finding and noticing is that throughout your life, you're going to have stereotypes if you're somebody who's making waves, if you're somebody that's doing something big in life, if you're getting noticed, of course they're going to stereotype you. They're going to say something about you. If you weren't doing anything, no one cared, you didn't have a very active life, no one would care to even talk about what you're doing. So yeah, I've kind of been accustomed to it, and they've totally switched. The stereotypes is interesting.
Yeah. Well, what can you say to young men and young women who just go through this, who are maybe attractive or not so attractive, been going through stereotypes?
The attractive ones, the not so attractive ones, I think we're all beautiful. I think you have to learn to love yourself. I mean, you have to be firm and grounded in who you are as a person, and that can take time. A lot of times if you don't have a strong father figure, especially us ladies, if you don't have daddy at home saying, you're beautiful, I love you, don't ever let a man do this, if he's not there, you're missing something. You're missing that that piece of you that really stabilizes and solidifies your personality and makes you feel secure. So you're going to be looking all over the place to kind of fill that void. Men, you can try women, you can try drugs, you can try sex, you can try fast living, you can try a whole bunch of things to try to fill that void. And what I found is I literally, y'all gonna think I'm crazy, but I said, Lord, I'm gonna call you Daddy Jesus. Because I had a father and he was always in the house, but we didn't have a close relationship. So it was almost like he was absent to me. And so I said, Lord, I'm gonna have to call you Daddy because I don't have that. And if I continue to have this void in my life, I'm going to continue to do these same things to try to fill this void in me. And people are going to see me doing all these extra things. So that kind of is what I had to do. You have to ask God to fill that place in you that you're missing, fill that void in you that you're missing. And you're not going to find it in anything else. You can try drugs, you can try drinking. I tried it. And it didn't work. I just ended up with a hangover and red eyes. It doesn't work. It doesn't fill the void.
All right. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna edit that part. Thank you for coming here today, Teens LOL Talk Show. This is Stereotypes and Images. We're gonna pass this on to the open mic and the audience for questions, and we'll do questions and answers with the paneling. So, yeah. Does anybody have stereotypes? Want to talk about stereotypes and images? Ellis Chapman.
Yeah, through high school I was had a lot of stereotypes. Some good, some were bad. Really, stereotypes help me as a person all around. I really don't care what people say anymore. So I like when people say stuff about me, I'm just like, oh, that's what's up. That's your opinion. I ain't tripping. Right. Moving on to the next one. I just look at stereotypes as a motivation, really. To keep them hating, I guess.
So you actually take it the other way around.
Yeah, I don't look at stereotypes. I mean, they're bad, but I don't take them to me as a bad thing. Because I'm not I stereotype also. I'm a big stereotype person. I talk about people all the time.
That's not good.
Okay.
I know it's not good, but I need some help with that. Jesus, let him know.
Okay.
Right. Thank you, Ellis. You have anybody else?
Anybody else?
Besides Ellis, who delivered a beautiful thing up there. Anybody besides Ellis who wants to talk to us about stereotypes and how they deal with that?
Have you ever stereotyped?
Have I ever stereotyped? Yes, I have. When I was in school, this is probably so crazy, but everyone used to say Asians were really smart. So I would copy, you would copy off of someone who was Asian because you thought they were smart. And yeah, that is, at times it can be wrong because they're not all smart. Who else have I stereotyped? I've stereotyped white men. That's a big one that I have, or used to have, not so much now, but I used to think they were the devil or, just evil. They didn't like us. So yeah, I mean, I've done it before and I know how it affects me, so I'm very mindful of it now. But yeah, you just have some, random stuff. And sometimes stereotypes, they can be not useful, but we use them to quickly size up a situation. So if you see someone wearing a hoodie at 2:00 in the morning, has his hand in his pocket, you don't know if it's black or white. It's useful to kind of say, okay, this guy looks shady. He might try to rob me.
That doesn't mean you shoot him, though.
No, that doesn't mean you shoot him. But we use those things. That's kind of like a frame of reference. Like, we don't jump and say, hey, start flashing money because you just don't know this person. But sometimes, with stereotypes, that's where you go to the extreme and you say all Chinese people are smart, all black people can play basketball, all white people are good at hockey.
That's a stereotype.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Jennifer, again. Oh, it looks like we have somebody who wants to speak on stereotypes. Josh Nicholas.
I have a question. Y'all look at stereotypes as a way of bullying?
I do a little bit. I sort of take that. Like I said, there's good things about it, and there's also bad things about it. But the bad things about it, I sort of take it sort of as bullying. So just because it hurts the person, it makes them want to do bad things.
Yeah. Usually, when you're stereotyping, it's not gonna be positive. It's not gonna be really a positive situation. I mean, it could, but usually stereotypes are used against for a negative effect. So,
Right.
So consider bullying mostly. Doesn't mean it can't be positive.
People should make it more positive than negative.
Yeah.
Yes. So at the end of the day, after all stereotypes, do you really know who you are?
Yeah, we just asked you that question. The whole audience.
Yeah.
What about in Christ?
Yeah.
I have.
I suppose
Do you know who you really are after all? She's not even listening.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sure.
You're asking me now. Do I know who I am after
Yes.
the stereotypes? That is a very good question. Yes, I do. Because what defines me isn't a stereotype. You have to, as a child of God, you have to go to the Word of God to get your definition of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And once you go to a source outside of people, outside of flesh, outside of all this extra stuff, that doesn't change. So you are whoever God says you are and have been that since the beginning of time. God spoke it from the beginning of creation even and said that you are this and you are that. So that doesn't change. So yeah, I do. I know who I am outside of stereotypes. Child of God.
Yeah. Ellis.
Actually, I was just recently stereotyped with my cousin at Macy's.
Oh, really? What happened?
He's not from here. He's from Muskegon. And they've kind of wear baggy clothes still. And so I'm trying on the shirt or whatever. And he's just looking at clothes. And like they started following him. But then they asked him a question and he spoke real intelligent. And they looked at him like, what?
Right.
And so that's really a major one. Like when you go in stores or something like that and you look a certain way, people are going to follow you. I've been followed before.
Yeah, I've been followed too. There was when I was actually at the doctor's. It might have been last week. I don't know, when I was really sick. I went there and I was wearing a spiky hat and obviously this spiky boots. Yeah. And one of the nurses came in and she kept on asking me if I smoke or like if I done any done any of that kind of stuff. And then I was like, no. I was like, I don't do that kind of stuff. And she was like, are you sure? And I was just like, I am pretty sure that I do not do that. So you shouldn't really don't judge people for the way they look at all. It's really harsh.
Right. Right.
No, that's a good point. As I mentioned before, and I'll be done, but I'm a marketing executive. I have the top marketing spot at the place that I work, at the credit union that I work. And I am a black female, and it's all, white men, white women, professional. And so when I first started there, I had a hard time. They gave me a hard time. They thought I was dumb. They thought I was going to do all this and snap my fingers and roll my neck. They didn't think I knew what I was talking about. So especially if I don't wear the glasses, that's really bad because there's a stereotype that smart people wear glasses. And so I used to not wear glasses. Sometimes I do now, but I can't see. I have to put them back on. But they thought I was an idiot. They really thought I was not qualified for the job. So I would literally, when I go to board meetings or different executive meetings with the CEO, who's my boss, and others, we would be duking it out in the meeting because they thought I was a nobody, a know-nothing. Even with a master's degree, I have an MBA. Even with that, they still try to step on me and disregard my comments or conversation. And so, yeah, you got to push back and let them know that you about something. Yeah, absolutely.
That's Julian Dow, yo.
I just want to say, sometimes people at school stereotype me because I was pretty calm, and they thought I smoked and stuff, and I told them I didn't. But they thought I did because I was calm, and they said I did drugs and stuff. I don't do drugs.
So what advice do my audience have for our guests?
Yeah, audience talking to Jennifer Kitchen now.
Jennifer Slaughter.
Jennifer Slaughter, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. That's the last time you knew me. I'm still a newlywed.
Yeah. You guys, this has been an amazing show on stereotypes and images and how you should deal with that. Thank you for coming. TeensLOL Talk Show.
All right. thank you guys so much for watching, and we're going to give you guys a little bit of advice from us to you. So my advice is that you shouldn't really worry about people stereotyping you or anything like that. Just be who you are and don't let them ruin who you want to become in the future, such as like a model or an actor.
My stereotype to you guys would be, my advice to you guys about stereotypes would be, if you're having a really hard time and you have no one to turn to God, because He will be your friend and He will help you through every situation and He will guide you.
Stereotypes, really, you just really got to get King Kong with it. You know, you smack those stereotype planes out the air. You know what I'm saying? Don't let stereotype really win a battle over you. I mean, if you're in God and you're doing God, He'll give you a new identity. And you won't be stereotyped because they'll know that you're one of God's child.
Yep. Thank you so much.
I made it through all the pain, through all